You know, I never really say this anymore in these videos, as I always get sort of just into let's discuss things mode. But how are you doing? How in the actual fuck is your life? Mine is about to get a whole lot better as my son's gonna be here in a few months, but how are you doing? Let me know down below in the comment section. Alright, now jumping right into things, this video isn't gonna be very long. We're just gonna quickly discuss what George has updated us on not only Winds of Winter, but also House of the Dragon. And also, real quick, please, before we get started and jump into things, do me a massive favor. Do me 3 massive favors. The first one is slap a like on this video, as the like goal is going to be 420. Get it? Also, make sure you're subscribed, and then this is the most important part. Make sure you have your notifications turned all the way on, so that way you get an alert every single time I drop a video throughout this wait for House of the Dragon Season 1, or as I call it, the long night. And also the wait for Winds of Winter, which is formerly known as the super long nights, but that's likely going to be here before House of the Dragon Season 1, as we'll find out in this video. Now, this info comes to us from George R. Martin's NOTABLOG, which this post is entitled Back to Westeros, and it actually just dropped this morning, which is why this video was thrown together so quickly. Now, George mentions that sometimes I do get the feeling that most of you reading my post here care more about what is happening in Westeros than what is happening in the United States. Well, of course. And he goes on to state, so let me assure you that when not sweating out election returns or brooding over real-world problems, I have continued to work on the Winds of Winter. No, sorry, still not done, but I do inch closer. It is a big, big book. I try not to dwell on that too much. I write a chapter at a time, a page at a time, a sentence at a time, a word at a time. It is the only way. And sometimes I rewrite. Alright, enough mobster voice. But George is from New Jersey, so yeah, there's that. Of late, I have been spending a lot of time with the Lannisters, Cersei and Tyrion in particular. I've also paid a visit to Dorne and dropped into Old Town a time or 3. In addition to turning out new chapters, I've been revising some old ones. In parentheses, some very old, including, yes, some stuff I read at cons ages ago, or even posted online as samples. I tweak stuff constantly, and sometimes go beyond tweaking, moving things around, combining chapters, breaking chapters in 2, reordering stuff. None of this is even remotely new. It is how the first 5 books were written, which all of us massive as Song of Ice and Fire fans know that. That's why the revised copies of scripts and story outlines for the Game of Thrones television series and for the books are always constantly changing, and that's awesome because that means that George is a perfectionist. This is part of the reason why Winds of Winter is taking so long. But continuing on, he goes on to state that I was really on a roll back in June and July, and if you're hearing that wisping sound in the background, that's my cat taking a shit, and he likes to play with his litter. Progress has continued since then, but more slowly. I suffered a gut punch in early August that really had me down for a time, and another for different reasons in early September, but I slogged on, and as of late, I am picking up steam again. On other fronts, well, aside from COVID-19 slowing everything down, we are making great progress on the HBO prequel, House of the Dragon. Ryan and Miguel are in London, casting has begun, and it is all looking very exciting. He goes on to state that I wish I could say that things are also going great on the other television and film projects I am involved with, either as a producer or as the author of the original source material, i.e. novels and short stories. I can't. Very little shooting is taking place and almost nothing is being greenlit. Of course, development continues, but there's a reason they call it development hell. Sigh. So that's where all that stands, or at least that's as much as I'm allowed to tell you right now. Hang in there, friends. Now, that last little paragraph where he's referring to things being in development hell, are of course not referring to House of the Dragon. Right before that, he states that everything's still going smoothly, and Ryan Condal and Miguel Sapochnik. Ryan is now living in London. That means he has 24 access to the studio that's open 24 hours a day, even during COVID lockdown. Ryan and Miguel Sapochnik have full-on access to that studio that's owned by Warner Brothers, which is HBO's parent company. Now, a lot of movies were filmed at this studio, including the Harry Potter films. So that means one thing. House of the Dragon's budget from the very first season, from the very first episode, is going to be that of movie quality, or at least the special effects and everything that goes into this show will be that of movie quality. And if you're like me and you're a bit concerned because the Harry Potter's movies haven't come out in like 10 years, so that means their special effects and all of their departments will be behind schedule. Well, not to worry, Justice League was filmed there, and then most recently, the new Batman movie featuring our Bats is filmed there as well. So I'm pretty sure that whatever House of the Dragon throws at this studio Leavesden in England, they'll be able to handle it, and it gets me even more excited for House of the Dragon hitting our screens in a little over a year. Now, as far as Winds of Winter goes, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that in this video, as I have made several Winds of Winter update videos the past few months, and I even released my Arya prediction breakdown, as well as some predictions for Daenerys, and that video was released last week, but both of those are linked down below in the description. The main thing that I want to discuss about Winds of Winter is that ever since probably about midway through this year, George has decided to update us monthly on Winds of Winter. Now, we didn't really get an update for September and really all of October. Now we're getting an update in November. But in my opinion, that means one thing. The more frequent his updates are, the closer he is to finishing. Now, obviously, he's telling everyone in this post that I just read that he's a pretty much perfect. And everything that he writes, he'll go back over and possibly rewrite it, rearrange it, maybe change some dialogue, maybe even have some of his editors look at it and put some of their input in. The fact that he's been pushed into seclusion because of COVID and this quarantine, I'm pretty sure he's made more progress on Winds of Winter than he has in the past 10 years. And also, we have to realize that with House of the Dragon coming out in 2022 and Game of Thrones being off air at that point for 3 years, Winds of Winter being released is the perfect thing to go along with the release of this show, or at least releasing them around the same time. Remember when the Dance of Dragons came out back in 2011? I think it was like July 12th or something like that when it released. Game of Thrones season 1 had just aired on April 17th of 2011. So the two of those co-alongside with each other and ramped them up. Now, obviously, there were massive book fans that could not wait for the show to come out, and now it's going to be the other way around, meaning House of the Dragon won't necessarily need as much promotion as Game of Thrones season 1, so maybe Martin will release it within a year of each other, maybe even 6 months. I predict that Winds of Winter will at least have a release date by December of this year. Now, if you all want, let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll go back and break down some of the sample chapters that George has released so far and make videos or prediction videos for Winds of Winter on them. Alright, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could please slap a like on this video, as the like goal is going to be 420. Also, make sure you're subscribed, have your notifications turned on, so that way you'll get an alert every single time I drop a video throughout this long night. Super special shout out to every single member of my Patreon family over on patreon.com/RehuntReviews. You can see all of those members listed right here. And if you're watching or interested in joining and showing some support, check out the link down below in the description, or one of the links that's gone off during this video. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Owens. Thank you all so much for watching.
Review.